Okay, handout 1 for our new unit on inequalities. We have already filled these things out on the other paper, so you're welcome to put them in there, but I am not going to. So an equation uses an equal sign. I'm just going to actually put the equal sign there to show that both sides are equal. And then an inequality, which is what we're talking about in this unit, shows that both sides are not equal. And so I know you're aware of what inequality signs are from when you're younger. So we have a 4 and a 9. And remember, we read from left to right when we're saying the symbols. So we would say 4 is less than 9. On this one, kids always struggle with decimals. So you could put a 0 after the 0.5. And so you would compare 50 to 45. Or you could say that 0.5 is bigger than 0.4. So we should say that 0.5 is greater than 0.45. And then with negative numbers, kids always get confused because 3 is bigger than 2, but when they're negative, the 2 is closer to the 0. So negative 3 is less than negative 2. And then we need to talk about how to read these. It's really important that you read it starting with the variable. So we're going to use the variable here. So we would read this one up here as x is greater than or equal to 6. I know it seems weird saying it backwards. So if you want to, you can get in the habit of flip-flopping them around. So you would have x, and then you would have to flip your sign around. And I'm not really sure how to get the equal sign underneath there, so I'm just going to go like that. And then 6. So x is greater than or equal to 6. And on this one, we can just read it as y is less than 0.5. So the first type of task you're going to have is you're going to decide whether the value of k that they give you, k equals 11, if it makes this statement true or not. And people can guess and get a 50-50 chance. So I do have to have you show a little bit of work. So on this one, like if you want to plug the 11 in where the k is, so you would have 11 plus 8. And then you know that that is 19. And so you would have 19 is greater than, let's see here. I'm going to try to do something else here. I think I know how to do it. Underline, whoopsies. Oh my golly, that did not work. Okay. Anyway, greater than, if you're listening, hopefully, greater than or equal to 19. And so then you ask yourself, is that a true statement? And yes, it is. So you would put true down because it is greater than or equal to. Okay, we'll try this one here. I'm going to leave these for you to do on your own. And then we will check them when you're done with this one. So we're going to put the 22 in for the B. So we're going to have 16 is less than, and then we're going to have 22 minus 8. And so we would go ahead and do 22 minus 8, and that would give us, let's see here, 14. So then you ask yourself, is 16 less than 14? And hopefully you realize that is false. So I need to see some kind of work like this, even if it's just the inequality at the end, so I know how you got your answer. So I'm going to go ahead and have you finish the rest of those and then show me when you have them done. And then when we go on the back of it, we have inequalities can also be graphed on the number line. And we've already talked about these from the other sheet. So when you have the dot that's colored in and included, that would be when you have your, I'm going to go ahead and draw this. That would be when you have your line underneath, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. The ones that are not included aren't going to have the lines underneath. So this inequality is read x is less than or equal to 5. So like we did before, you're going to go to the 5 and draw your circle, and you're going to color it in because it contains 5. And then you're going to draw your arrow this way because the variable's on the left side, the arrow is pointing to the left, so we can follow that. Or you can just think that numbers less than or equal to 5 are this way. But you got to be careful because if you look down here, they don't always put the variable on the left side. So on this one that we're going to go ahead and do together, you can figure out what strategy works for you. Some kids like to flip-flop them, and then you have to make sure that you switch the sign. And then since the variable is on the left side, you can follow this arrow going left. So I'm going to go to the 12 and color my circle in. Trying to make it bigger. And then you're going to draw your line. And that should be a circle that is colored in. So you can just follow the arrow. Otherwise, if you notice the variable's not on the left side, you just know that you go the opposite way. And then also some kids can just read it. F is less than or equal to 12. So these numbers are less than or equal to 12. So I want you to go ahead and finish these and then read this. And I want you to write an inequality like we've been practicing. Remember, the X goes on the left side. So you're going to have the X here, the 150 here, and then you put the symbol in here and then draw it on your number line. And remember, you don't need to fill out all those numbers. All you really need is a 0, a 150, and then, you can do 160 here. That doesn't really matter. And then you're going to do it for this one too. And then show me when you're done. Do it when you're done with this video.